Welcome into Junior LC8 football here on Saturday afternoon on the Lorain County Sports Network as we bring you our first broadcast of the season here on Saturday. Obviously, we had the high school kids on Friday night, but now we bring you 5th and 6th grade tackle football, the future of those Friday night lights. I'm Max Drummond. I'm joined alongside my broadcast partner this afternoon, Sam Sovacool, as well as Ben Parsons on camera for us. And Sam, I'll bring you in as we're getting ready to start here. Saturdays in the fall, they're officially about to get underway.
Yeah, Max, I'm ready to, get another season of Junior LC8 going, and I'm very excited to be here, get on the mic again. I'm not going to get too used to it, but I'm happy to be out for week one and here for the kids, so let's get going. It looks like we're about to get started, Max.
That we are, as we're going to see Firelands on offense first here, and they're going to give a handoff along the right side. That's going to go the way of Harrison Leonhardt.
Yeah, Harrison running real good up the right side, taking it for about a good 6-7 yard gain.
And in the past couple seasons, last year you may have seen us here on YouTube, especially if you are a member of one of these Junior LCA teams. We know a lot of them like to tune in after the game's over. And, of course, our first year was on radio, but now we maintain being here on YouTube with the stream. And we always get great compliments from these kids and how excited they are to see themselves on the screen like this. So 2nd down and 2 from around the 44. And we're going to have some issues there as well as a penalty.
That was craziness, Max.
I had a tough time keeping up. Did you see anything on that one?
I just saw the snap go back, and it ended up on the ground.
So good job recovering it there. We'll see if the play would have even counted. It might be a procedure penalty, as the officials are communicating here.
All right, looks like there's going to be a loss of about 5 yards here, Max.
So it may have been with their formation, how they were lined up.
Yeah.
So now we'll reset here, and the down marker says 3rd.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's still probably 2nd down. Unless they lost it down there, it depends on.
They may have. I mean, I think they lost the yardage due to the fumble on the play, maybe. Who knows?
So that could be they may have waved off the flag, whatever it was. So now we'll set up 3rd and long here, and that's going to be a pass out to the left side and a good catch and run, as that's going to be Branson Boos on the way. He was a big name last year for Firelands, as he has a very memorable name, and he's going to flip the field and get into plus territory.
Mr. Boos took that screen pass on the left side of the field all the way up to about past the 30-yard line, and he was following his blockers and doing a good job getting downfield and running hard.
So we're here in this opening quarter of play, and a big thank you to some of our partners getting us out here on these Saturday afternoons, like Elyria Charities. It's all about education. The Lorain County Visitors Bureau in Elyria, located on Court Street, celebrating 200 years together here in the county, as well as Zabo Apparel in Vermilion. Be game day ready all year long with Zabo Apparel, as we have a number of great sponsors here with us this season. Another early whistle.
Yeah, false start here, Max. Can't do that.
So a couple of miscues right now. They're kind of being covered up by Boos's nice catch and run play before. So we'll see if they have to rely on those chunk plays throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, I want to see them try to get the ball into Boos's hand again. He seems to have a lot of electricity in those steps of his.
So now they'll huddle back up, and this time they'll start at the 42. As we're live here at across from Brookside High School in Sheffield, as they had a little bit more opportunity to let this field breathe after Thursday night's game, as their high school opened there. And that's a big hit on the sideline. Ball came out at the end, but it looks like they're going to rule him down. Nice tackle. Try to get a number out there. It looks like that's going to be James Zinger on the tackle.
Yeah, Deacon Cooley took a huge hit from Zinger on that play. Huge hit. He was lucky the ball ended up going out of bounds, Max.
He sure is, and it results in 2nd and 12 here, as they did get a few positive yards out of it, but not enough to make up for that penalty on 1st down.
Let's open up the field a little bit here. Push that ball down the field.
Well, we know Brookside's offense will like to do that when they get
Oh,
a
yeah.
chance. So, yeah, we'll see if Firelands can kind of set the tone on that front. Pistol look with a receiver on either side and two tight ends almost stacked on the left. And they try to use the motion there, and that's sometimes an issue you can run into in these
Yeah.
younger age groups, is trying to do a little window dressing, and it's not always so smooth.
Yeah, but it looks like we have a penalty on the defense here, Max. It looks like we have an encroachment.
I'll get my foot out of my mouth there. Great job by the kids on Firelands to draw them off sides with a little confusion.
Do not pay attention to me, Max says.
So now they'll get all that penalty yardage back.
Which as if all those penalties never happen now.
In theory. Now we'll see if in practice next week if the coaches feel that way when they send them straight forward. But now it'll be second down and about 5 or 6 to go here inside the 35-yard line. It's a decent starting drive here to open the game, and getting away from one tackle and trying to cut up field. He's going to cut through a couple more, and that's going to be a great pickup there once again by Harrison Lionheart.
Yeah, Caleb DeVito missed the tackle in the backfield. You got to wrap up there, buddy, but we know his dad will get on him for that.
I was going to say, he's patrolling those sidelines. I'm sure he was the first one to notice who missed that tackle, as he was a really big-time player last season.
He was there. He was the first guy there, and we know he'll make that play next time.
And he'll have to do so after the Falcons move the chains. So a steady drive here to start in the first quarter of our junior LC8 season. There have been other games going around the county, and there was even a couple here before we got started. But this is the first, fifth, and sixth grade game on the channel. And now we've got a man open deep. Is he going to find him? That's Boost waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
At the goal line, and he's going to run it in for the touchdown. Sam Lingus on the throw. We'll see what the officials
hold your horses, Max. We have some laundry on the field.
So it looks like there may have been an ineligible man downfield, and it looked like they used play action. That sometimes even happens at the pros. So
yeah, man. I mean, that was a really well drawn up play. Boost was wide open downfield, completely busted coverage, and unfortunate for the penalty. So we'll see how Firelands responds to this adversity after the conversion.
Yeah, and right there, I mean, like you said, coverage bust in the back end of the defense.
No one was there, Max.
And he had to wait for the football to get to him.
Exactly.
So they'll reset at the 30-yard line of Brookside. Come out first and 15.
One step forward, two steps back, as they say.
We'll see if they got another forward step to take here, as we'll see the pistol look, as we've seen that primarily on this drive. And this time Lingus will just keep it himself, and he's going to outrun some of his blockers. It doesn't matter, though, as he cuts it up, spins around it. It appears a foot may have touched the white sideline there, but a nice pickup.
Yeah, Lingus with a nice little outside counter play right there going to the left side, and he really was able to put some moves on some players and get a good chunk of 6 yards.
So that'll bring up a 2nd and 5. And even with some of these mistakes we've seen, they have done a good job recovering and just keep on moving forward here on this drive. Yeah,
boys gotta get a little rowdy now. They're starting to get into the red zone, so let's see them punch this ball in for 6, Max.
We know they're capable. I mean, they already have on this drive technically.
They're moving it. We're moving.
And the offensive line will get their splits in place as they get set. Lingus calls for the snap. He'll get it. Going to hand it off to Lionheart. Spins out of one tackle, cutting his way to the goal line, and he'll run it in from about 18 yards out for the first official touchdown of the season here for junior LCA football and the Firelands Falcons.
Harrison Lionheart with a great run right there. Took advantage of the open space provided by the offensive line and was able to convert the 6 points for the Firelands Falcons to start the season in the Junior LCA League.
Yeah, so they'll set up on the right hash here, and
looks like we have a one-pointer, Max, a one-pointer.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up, because when they set up at the 3-yard line for point after tries, it will be for just 1, but if they choose to go from the 5 at any point this season, that'll be a 2-point conversion. So we'll see them come out. And instead of having the pair of tight ends and the wing back over on the left side, they'll move them over to the right here. Here comes Boos in motion. He'll take the handoff. He's going to try to find the outside edge, and he'll run in with ease and make it 7-0 Firelands here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And we'll see if the Brookside Cardinals can respond, as they've got a few weapons of their own, but that was a very impressive showing there. And remember, I mean, at this level, majority of those guys that were out on defense, now they got to turn around and try to take the field on offense.
Yeah, man, defense, after you hard drive to be there for the Brookside defense. You give up a bunch of yards, you get some penalty yardage back, and then you give up some big plays. So you got to come back on offense and respond well. And, for Firelands, you just got off to a hot start on offense, and you want to bring that same energy to the defensive side. So we got to, conflicting feelings right here, but we got to see who's going to budge each other more, the immovable object or the unstoppable force.
Yeah, and we'll see if they continue to be unstoppable on the defensive side of the ball. And we just want to remind you of a few more of our great organizations and businesses in the area that have teamed up to help us bring you these games on Saturdays, supporting youth athletics, like Robert Garcia of Allstate, local Allstate agent in Avon. Give him a call at 440-934-8300. Chris Kep of Slimans in Amherst. Need a Jeep? Call Chris Kep at 440-420-0681. Also, Brian Victor of Howard Hanna, who says to enjoy the game, and that goes for Fridays and Saturdays, as on Friday nights he brings us Rate the Dog, which was very eventful last night for us over in North Ridgeville. Can't speak for the rest of the crews. But
solid hot dog last night at North Ridgeville.
And then if you aren't looking for, a stadium dog or concessions, then you got to hit up Jones Bones Barbecue and Grub on Royalton Road in Grafton, right on the border of Grafton and Eaton there. So now we'll get the Brookside Cards on offense to start, as they're going to pitch that one outside, going to Max Sunyak, and he's going to try to fight his way forward for a couple yards, and he'll pick up around maybe one.
Yeah, Sunyak doing a good job getting the handoff there from number 1 Steven Simpkins over there at quarterback for the Brookside Cardinals. So we're going to see what Mr. Simpkins can do for his team and how Coach DeVito wants to push the ball down the field.
Yes, he's got quite the amount to live up to. There's Sam Lingus put on quite a show on that first drive for Fireland, so we'll see if he can match what the opposing quarterback was able to do. So they'll break the huddle now, coming up to the 36-yard line here in their own half of the field. Almost like what appears to be a wishbone formation in a sense, is he'll set up a little bit behind the center, not even in a pistol but shotgun, and that play's going to be blown up that time. Jackson Freak nowhere to go, and it looks like the first tackler there may have been Dylan Layport for the Falcons.
Max, I'm surprised you were able to get an eyes on a tackler. I just saw a gang of jerseys come over there.
I'll be honest, I just noticed the last one to get up was. So I figured, you know what, that's probably the best guess there. But you're right, that was some swarming defense. And now we've got a 3rd and long here set up for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and Firelands, they have a big front 3 right there. We can see number 76 right away, number 76.
Stands out, doesn't it?
Landon Bachman, big boy right there.
Yeah, and it's our 3 years doing this. Firelands, I think they just definitely have the most impressive line of scrimmages of anyone in this league. So now Simpkins going to roll right. He'll bounce off of one defender and back into the hands of a Cardinal. What a play.
Yeah, that
almost disaster.
Tipped off the fingertips of Dylan Lightport right there, right into the hands of number 2, Jax Garcia of the Brookside Cardinals. Insane play to move the change, but here we are, junior LC8 football at its finest.
Yeah, and that'll give you some nice momentum to not only keep the drive going, but move the chains there. And as the officials wind the clock, we are not working with a clock on the scoreboard this afternoon, but we are going to try to monitor the officials and their updates to us.
We're most definitely still in the first quarter.
There we are. As the score right now, as you can see on your screen, 7-0 Firelands here in the early portions of this opening weekend of not just junior LCA football, but football in the state of Ohio, as we had quite the high school slate last night, and we'll update you on a few of the places we've been and where we'll be next week, not only for this level, but high school.
false start.
Is that one of those situations where what did that official say back in the day? Everybody but the center.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
miscommunication on
everyone
the
was moving right there. They're gonna have to back her up and try it again.
So it's typical for week one to see a few mistakes, few confusing things. As I mean, there's not much of a preseason at this level. I imagine you maybe scrimmage a team or two, but it's a lot just.
You're mainly playing against your teammates.
That's right, and it's tough to simulate game situations there. So this is, for many of these teams, probably only their second time as a unit being out there. So now they'll reset 1st and 15 from the 44. Simpkins will drop back, rolls right, and he's going to sling it. He is a lefty, so rolling right. He's had some success there, surprisingly, and that's going to, once again, go to Jax Garcia.
Yeah, Jax Garcia really hooking up with Simpkins early on, so we clearly have what's maybe his favorite target, but so far so good. Brookside trying to figure out how to move the ball in this Firelands defense.
Well, we'll see if they can continue to keep some positive plays going, as that'll be the end of the first quarter as they'll flip the field. Each team will hit their sidelines for a break, and we'll take one with them. Be right back here after this. Back here for the second quarter from Brookside Stadium, Dick Evans Stadium here in Sheffield, across from Brookside High School, as the visiting Firelands Falcons lead at the moment. High snap goes to the running back, and he's going to try to reverse field and get what he can, but Sunyak, there's just nowhere to go on that one.
Yeah, he could not escape the defensive end there. If I can get just a number, looks like that's number, what is that, 63, Max?
On the far side there, yeah, I believe either that or maybe Gavin Byard, depending on the number looks like.
His jersey's all crinkled up. It's hard to tell from over here.
Week one for everybody, man. That's always the cliche. But, either way, third and very long here. You might have to be over in Sheffield Village or Sheffield Lake, whichever is further. That's how far this Brookside Cards team has to go.
I think that was Gavin Byer, because he's the only player on this team with the number 3 as the second number. Interesting fact.
Yeah, so we will keep an eye out for more like that as we go team to team this year. And right now we'll have a stoppage, as that's going to back Brookside up even further.
They just keep going backwards, Max. This is not good.
So they'll have to try to either play field position here, or maybe if you got a trick play, but it is very early for a trick play.
This would be, week one, going into your deep bag of tricks to get out of this situation would be something.
So now we'll see what they have in store as Simpkins gets ready.
Look, you can see Firelands is playing off the ball.
They expect a pass. They'll get one here. Simpkins throws it up. There's a lot of red jerseys around, and that one's going to be picked off. Going the other way is Deacon Cooley as he gets to the sideline trying to cut upfield. He's got a few blockers.
He's still
Makes
going,
a man miss, and he's going to cut back and go all the way to extend their lead.
Touchdown, Firelands. What a play, Max.
Yeah, and that was obviously a one-man route pattern there, and unfortunately for Brookside, Firelands
They were all over it.
They
They were ready for it.
That's right. They diagnosed it, and everybody was ended up near where the ball was going to land.
Before the snap, you could tell they were expecting pass. They were ready for the pass. And you know what? They just came into the best case situation right there. Best case scenario.
So now they're up 13-0, and we'll see what they opt to do here for the point after, as they're in enemy territory right now and out to a hot start. And so they'll be at the 3, try to make this a 14-0 ball game. And this is a Firelands team we'll actually get to see for many weeks in a row, as we'll actually be on site with them the next 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Or the next 3, but here in the first 4 weeks of the season, as they'll take on Clearview on the 30th. But that'll be a night game, Sam. That will be prime time.
Oh, wow.
And under the lights out at Columbia. Right now, we've got this Falcons team setting up for the point after try, as Brookside will try to have something positive happen here to carry it over to their offense. A little bit of communication between the halfback there and Lingus, but he'll get the snap. He's going to follow his running back out left, and we'll see if he gets the corner. He does, but
Max.
late flag.
Looks like we have a block in the back here on the offense, so.
It's a good catch there, because it looked like it may have been the receiver out on that side.
Yeah, it was. So we're going to get a block in the back, and we're going to retry it, Max, but a little bit further away this time.
And unfortunately for them, because they were going for 1, just because they have to go from more than double the distance, doesn't mean they're going to get 2 points out of it. Still probably just going to be a 1-point try.
It's still a 1-point attempt, exactly. That does not change the amount.
So officially they'll set up at the 13-yard line. And now we'll see if Lingus gets to use his arm again like he did on their opening drive of the game. But obviously very capable, and they trust him to use his legs.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
He's got good command of this offense early on.
So he'll set up. Offensive line in place, and now he'll turn and look, immediately gets rid of it, but the low pass brings Boost to the ground on his own, so that'll be no good, and keep it at 13-0 Firelands here in the second quarter from Brookside High School, as the junior Cards will now get their second chance on offense after experiencing a turnover the first time around with the ball.
Yeah, Brookside's got to shake this turnover off, and they just got to go. They got to go back out there and get back to what they're doing, what they were doing best, and maybe throw in some more running plays, and maybe remind Firelands who you are.
And maybe be able to see him standing above the rest of the team there. A name we called quite a bit last season for the Cardinals was one Caleb DeVito. And he was a big playmaker for them last season, so got to imagine he may be involved in this offense in some way. Not like pretty quickly, I would think. So now we'll see them set up for their second drive here at the 35. They're going to pitch out right. Cutting up pretty quickly on that one is Colt Hoffman. So we're seeing a lot of different Cardinals touch the ball here in the opening half.
Spreading the wealth, baby. We're spreading the wealth.
You know, it's a good way to try to keep Firelands guessing, and it worked there, picking up 6 yards.
It looks like Hoffman has a neck pad too, Max.
That's old school, man. Don't see that too often.
You respect
anywhere.
that, Max. I know you respect that.
Got that right, and we'll see if they can force the Falcons to respect their offense here, as we'll now see the play be brought in by Max Sunyak, who's been involved a couple times here early on. So now here come the Cardinals to the line. And yeah, I'm just going to call it a pistol wishbone formation, and that time it's going to end up in the hands of Sunyak immediately, as the snap was under the legs of Simpkins, and it looks like
Firelands ball.
Ooh.
It looks like as soon as the A lot of craziness just happened. Sunyak had the ball, and as he got tackled, number 30 from the Firelands Falcons, Deacon Cooley, again with another turnover, his second turnover of the game.
So I don't know how they celebrate those over on that sideline because every team has a gimmick now, but whatever it is, he should be getting a lot of it, and he's setting the tone early for this season. So already in a hurry, we're going to see the Firelands offense again. As, on their one drive, they were rolling, and then their defense has really set them up.
Oh, yeah.
Last 2 times with a score of its own, and now a big-time chance to make it a 3-possession game.
You know, Brookside, Firelands, they're just winning on all 3 sides of the ball right now. There's nothing that Brookside can do. They just got to keep the ball on offense and stop these turnovers because we're looking at a deep situation here, Max.
Yeah, they'll try to avoid any further deficit as Lingus will hand off, and no question where that's going, around the left side. Good open field tackle by DeVito as he will look to make an impact on that side of the ball, bringing down Ezekiel Jones on that one for a short gain or possibly even a loss on the play.
It looks like we have a loss of 1 here, Max. So Firelands trying to establish some ground game early. Would like to see them go through the air a little bit more here. I think they're having a lot of success going through the air.
This is true, and I mean, in a game like this where you do hold the lead, maybe work out a few things or some things you weren't sure of coming out of their early practices. So now we'll see Lingus once again, as behind him it will continue to be Jones, at least for the moment. Snap is back. He's going to run right, try to follow his blockers. He bounces it outside, and there's going to be nobody to catch him, at least to stop him for the first down, as he'll rumble ahead inside the 10 and bring up a 1st and goal.
Yeah, thanks to number 22, James Zinger on the Brookside Cardinals, we were able to get a stop there inside the 5-yard line. But Firelands is threatening again, and it's 1st and goal, Max.
They're set up nicely here, and 2/3 of that chain gang can take a break now.
Oh yeah, I bet they love taking that break. They love putting those things down and going on their phones and looking at whatever they're looking at.
So now it'll be from the right around the 9-yard line here. And this Brookside defense backs against the wall now. If it wasn't already before, certainly is here. Lingus setting up in that pistol formation, everybody in place. He claps his hands, gets the ball. They're going to hand it off, having to bounce it outside. And it's somehow going to pick up a couple yards as Jones did a good job just burying the shoulder down and trying to get what he could.
Yeah, you could see Steven Simpkins and Jackson Freak in the mosh pit of people trying to take down the young man. So a lot of gang tackling going on, trying to stop him from scoring this touchdown.
And now it'll be set up 2nd and goal from the 5. And yeah, they haven't been put in a lot of great situations here, trying to stop a conversion last time out, and now with the ball in their own half of the field.
Got to have that same mentality, Max.
Yeah, this Brookside defense, they have their work cut out for them, and now we'll see. We've seen this a lot. Lingus just getting it around the left side, and he outruns everybody, even his own blockers, for another touchdown, as he will put them up 3 possessions here in the 2nd quarter, as it's just been a dominant start so far for Firelands.
Firelands really just, really just kind of stepping on the throats here of Brookside early on. They're getting whatever they want, and you know what? They're going to go in here, and it looks like they're going for another 1-pointer here, Max.
So they're very content to just be as close as you can. It's not exactly still an easy one, but
no.
Half the distance to go.
No point.
Smart.
No point is easy to get in the game of football.
So now we'll see as they approach the line here. As they've been very comfortable just leaving it with Lingus and letting him create. As we have some whistles here, quick stoppage and play for something.
Oh yeah, there seems to be some confusion going on the field. Substitution problem, maybe. Yep, that looks like that was the issue. The Brookside needed one more man on the field. Or you could see a young man coming off the back of the field, so there was a substitution.
So now they'll set up here for a point after try. And as we mentioned, or Sam brought up, it will be from the 1 yard line, or 3 yard line, so it's a 1 point attempt. And we'll see motion going across, and he's going to cut it inside. Caleb Steinhelfer, they'll give it to him, making it 20-0 here in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, Mr. Steinhelfer really just took that reverse. You know, Brookside didn't see it coming because there was plenty of room in front of him to cut upfield and to get that conversion.
So with it 20-0, we will take a quick break as the teams get ready to switch sides, and we'll be back right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in the second quarter from Brookside High School here on the Lorain County Sports Network, as Junior LC8 football is back and in full swing. And we're here covering Brookside versus Firelands as Brookside comes back out on offense, and they'll start the drive with an incomplete pass, as we will likely see a lot more of that passing game here as the game goes on, as they trail by 3 possessions at the moment.
Yeah, Brookside going to have to really unload the ball through the air to get some chunk plays and to really get back into this game. Would love to see them pop. Would really love to see them pop the cork off this thing and see what they can do down the field.
Yeah, and that's, if there's any kind of silver lining you can take from facing a deficit like this, is that you can play with a little less pressure and a little more freely.
Oh, yeah.
Just try out a few different things. So now they'll come to the line, 2nd and 10 from the 35, as that's where all drives will start here at this level. Instead of the wishbone, they'll be stacked, handed off right up the gut. Maybe get around 3 or 4 on that play is Jackson Freak.
Yeah, Freak took it up and met a wall of Firelands defenders, but was able to get a good 4-yard gain. 3rd and about 6 right here, Max.
Well, and what's very interesting, we talked about the size up front, but because of that, they only need 3 defenders there. Look how many are at the 2nd level of that defense.
I know. You break that 1st level, it's like good luck. There's still another wall of defenders right there.
And that's what they'll be facing here once again on 3rd down and 6. And it's this is going to be a very crucial play call now as they attempt to not let this game get too far out of hand here as we are in the 2nd quarter.
You can also
week 1 game.
You can also notice number 37 of Firelands, Dylan Lightboard, is wearing a helmet cap.
Yeah, well, the Guardian caps, yeah.
Yeah.
Good spot there, and we're going to see Simpkins get tackled immediately in the backfield as he possibly escaped one, but he couldn't get away from the next. As that, not only are they unstoppable in the run game right now, that pass rush is really causing some hectic.
Yeah, that was Gavin Byer again. Gavin Byer is back in the backfield again, causing some havoc. This kid is causing some trouble, Max.
He certainly is, and it forces a punt from the Brookside offense. And punts here at the Junior LC8 are simulated, so they'll walk it out 25 yards. And it will force Firelands to start on their own half of the field, it looks like, but it won't be that far away from midfield.
Yeah, this is about, this is the field situation you'd run into on a kickoff out of bounds. You usually get it around this area of the field. So get it around the 40-yard line. Good area of the field for Firelands to come out and to potentially extend their lead before the halftime, Max.
Yeah, as we are getting ever closer to that, we do not have a clock in effect this afternoon on the scoreboard, but the officials are monitoring it on their watches down there. So we don't know exactly how close they are to halftime just yet. We'll see how aggressive they have to be through the air or watching, getting out of bounds and using their timeouts. But we may get some signs of it here with how they attack to start the drive. As they do lead 20-0 here in the early portions of this game, does Firelands. A little setup in the pistol. Lingus will get the snap, hands it off, and that's going to be swallowed up, thrown down by a pair of Brookside defenders is the running back, Ezekiel Jones.
Yeah, Caden Uline was able to take him down on the right side of the field, and I believe that his co-companion was number 22, James Zinger. So some more gang tackling going on, been a theme of the game here. Teamwork makes the dream work, Max.
Always does, and now we'll see if they can continue to build on that, as they haven't had too much to celebrate on the defensive side of the ball so far.
You can see number 18 coming into the game, Adrian Pinero. He's taking over that D tackle spot for Brookside.
Two-liner in, try to give them some fresh legs. And Firelands now setting up from their own 38. Play action, Lingus will roll right. He's going to uncork it, and it's going to be bobbled and then dropped by his receiver. Just not able to hold on to it was Jacob Holen.
Yeah, Holen was wide open down the field, so he'll remember that one, and I bet he'll catch it next time. So those are the ones you always want back, Max.
Well, and he was so wide open that there was really nobody to hit him or affect him, and sometimes you can get in your head, build it up too much, and may have been what happens there. So 3rd and 13 now for Firelands.
Yeah, those are the plays where you'll always think before you actually get the ball in your hand. You'll try to make a move before you ever get the ball.
So now we'll see if they go back to him here, as a lot of these passing patterns have been open beyond the 10, 15-yard mark, and Lingus has had no problem getting them there. Line will get set. See a motion, and they'll give it off. This time that'll be to Deacon Cooley. We saw him on the pick 6 earlier, and he's showing off more of that finesse, as he's going to be right at that first down marker at the 50.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to give it to him, Max, because that was a good run, and he definitely landed a little bit, if not on the marker, a little bit past it, because that was definitely a first down. And this Cooley kid, he's a cool man, Max. He's everywhere.
As he's being seen on both sides of the ball so far. Right there, they do a nice little sweep with him.
Very versatile player.
And Firelands, they've been very comfortable. Both sides really have tried to get a lot of different guys involved, and Firelands has done so to perfection, as they'll now be right on the 50 at midfield here. So Lingus will set up at around the 44 in the pistol. Or the 46, excuse me, and he'll take the snap. And there's no doubt what he's doing, cutting back right as he's trying to get away from a few more defenders. Spun down, but he'll get the first down.
You know, another Lingus QB draw here, where he goes from the left side of the field all the way over to the right side, and it's still a first down for the Firelands Falcons. This kid, he's real shifty with his feet, and he moves at a really good pace.
So he did get out of bounds, and there may have been a potential timeout used if the clock would have been running. So that indicates to us we're getting close to halftime here from Brookside High School's stadium, and a big thank you and shout out to them for opening it up for us here on this Saturday afternoon and giving us a chance to come out and cover the youngsters that will eventually be playing on this field. Both sides during their high school careers, I imagine, will get opportunities to be out here at Dick Sevitz Stadium, and can't wait for those days. But right now they're living it up here under the sun instead of under the lights.
Yeah, Max, they're all preparing for that next level, and this is definitely where it starts, because you got to start somewhere in your athletic journey. So starting here in the Junior LC8, it's a good place to be. So we're going to see what Firelands has in store for the Brookside Cardinals going forward.
And for now, they'll be 1st and 10 from the, call it the 34, maybe the 33. As the official on the far side will make sure that they're all on the line, and They have the appropriate amount there, so Lingus will get it rolling left.
Oh, he's open.
And he's going to scatter around. He's going to run past the line of scrimmage. He'll tuck it. He's getting upfield, and he'll be close to that first down, but that may have been a blind side block, which has been very much outlawed at almost every level.
Yeah, they're going to get Austin Davis for a block in the back, I think, right here. So that's definitely unfortunate because you have a big play right there, so they're going to lose some yards, but you know, they have the big lead, so it's a mistake that they can afford to make at the moment.
As they are up 20-0 here, and they will walk it back from the spot of the penalty, and now Brookside
taking a timeout.
We'll use one as well, so we'll take one with them and be back shortly here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Coming back here late in the second quarter of our opening game for the Junior LC8 football season between Firelands and Brookside. It's the first of a doubleheader this afternoon, as Keystone and Black River will be on tap after this. But right now we've got Firelands opening it up. Branson Booth, he catches it. That's another big play for him, and he's dragged down inside the 15. And I got to imagine that's an immediate timeout coming from the Firelands sideline, trying to get another score in before half.
Yeah, Firelands, their offense, they have some weapons. They have, Branson Booth hooking up with Sam Lingus. They have Sam Lingus hooking up with Deacon Cooley. There is a ton of people on this Firelands offense that can get the ball and do a bunch of things with it. And this isn't even to mention their gigantic offensive line that seems to be giving Mr. Lingus as much time as he needs to complete any of these passes and to convert these run plays.
Yeah, and even if there is a bit of pressure, which, like you mentioned, there hasn't been a lot of, he's able to escape, roll out, and scramble around from it, and he's just very comfortable back there. And that's a name I remember last year. I do not recall if he was their starting quarterback or if he was at times their quarterback, but he's very natural, and he's doing a good job honing the position here to start the season.
Yeah, he's done a very good job operating the offense, and it looks like they're trying to push this lead to 26.
So both teams will make their way back out there. Setting up shop at right around the 12-yard line, and we'll see what they have in store here. I got to believe they'll keep it in the air and in Lingus's hands. So he'll clap his hands. He gets the snap, tries to follow one blocker. He'll just go outside because he's got the speed to do so. Looking for that front pylon. He'll get there, extending and scoring. Once again is Sam Lingus for Firelands.
Jackson Freak had an angle on Lingus, but he wasn't able to get him because Lingus just shifty that way, moved his hips, moved his legs, and was able to get around the defenders for 6 more points.
Yeah, that escapability on full display. And it's now 26-0 Firelands here right before halftime. So we're not sure how many. I got to think we're under a minute with the way those timeouts were used and how strategic they were being with their play calling.
Yeah, we're coming up to it, Max.
So now they'll set up once again at the 3-yard line and try to make it 27-0. here comes the squad to the line as they'll come out in that pistol. He'll immediately throw right, and that's going to be caught and trying to make a couple guys miss, but he won't get anywhere. Jacob Holen brought down, and that'll keep it at 26-0.
Yeah, Freeg was able to stop him right there before he could cross the goal line. So no extra point, 26-0. But Max, that is a really big and impressive lead here in the first half.
Yeah, they've come out firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball, and it's resulted here in this lead on opening weekend for not just junior LCA football, but football across the state of Ohio. And just a reminder to you, while you're on this YouTube channel, we mentioned a few times this is the future site you'll find these youngsters playing on when they hit the high school level. Because of the Lorain County Sports Network, we're covering them here at 5th and 6th grade, and then once they hit high school, we try to get around to as many places as possible. Like last night, we were at North Olmsted at North Ridgeville, saw the Rangers get a big win there, and Midview at Westlake with the Middies taking that one home. And we'll be actually at a couple LC8 spots next week for the high school side. Northwestern at Black River.
Yeah, we'll be there next week, Max.
As well as Cloverleaf at Keystone. So if you're an LC8 fan, highly recommend you tune in for those, as pregame will begin right around 6:40 for those. And then come back the following day on Saturday, because obviously I know there's that big Ohio State-Texas game. You can't not notice that on the schedule, but because of that, Junior LCA's adjusting, and we're going to have some night games out in Columbia. And that snap's going to go over the head and picked up by Lionheart as he'll try to escape to the sideline, cutting upfield, and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that snap went over the head of, it looked like Carter Janda right there, and number 38 of Brookside, Max Sunyak, was there to save the day again and grab another bad snap and turn nothing into something.
And there is
a flag on the field, too.
Could not tell if that was intended for a penalty or maybe the spot where the ball was after it hit the ground. So we'll see if they call anything in a moment. As the Brookside staff will get an explanation. And this late in the half, got to expect that they may just try to take it to halftime.
Yep.
And not be too aggressive here. So ball will be reset, and we'll move the clock now. For those junior LCA games we mentioned next week happening at Columbia for week 2, starting at 6:15. So they will actually be under the lights, and that will be between Clearview and this Firelands team, who's looking very good heading into halftime here. And also the second of our doubleheader next week will be Columbia taking on Oberlin. And like I said, that'll bring us to halftime here at the moment with a 26-0 lead in favor of Firelands. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll kind of recap how that first half went, who made some of the big plays there, especially on that Firelands side, and we'll get you ready for the second half of play here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Good afternoon and welcome back here on the Lorain County Sports Network as we're at halftime of our matchup between Firelands and Brookside. As you can see on your screen, the Falcons with a substantial lead. And in case you missed some of it or you need a quick recap, Sam's got the numbers and who was able to help put them up on this lead here on our scoreboard.
I have the script. The script goes as follows. So on our first drive, Firelands started with the ball, and number 26, Harrison Lionheart, had a rushing touchdown, which they, with a good extra point attempt, putting the Fireland Falcons up 7-0. And the second drive of the game, Brookside number 1, Steven Simpkins, throws an interception to Deacon Cooley, number 30 of the Firelands Falcons, on the second drive of the game for a pick 6. Extra point attempt, no good. 13-0. Firelands lead the game. On the third drive of the game, number 38 of Brookside, Max Sunyak, fumbled, and Deacon Cooley again, number 30 of Firelands, recovers it. And then Firelands comes back on the fourth drive of the game with a rushing touchdown from number 9, Sam Lingus. And Lingus had that good extra point attempt as well, bringing the game 20-0 Firelands. And then Brookside, after going 3 and out the next drive, Firelands comes back on drive 6 of the game, and Lingus has another rushing touchdown. Extra point attempt, no good again. 26-0 Firelands over Brookside. And here we are to start the third quarter. So big deficit for the Brookside Cardinals. Max, it's going to be a tough hill to climb for Brookside to get back into this game.
It certainly is. And there's going to be a lot they have to work out. I'm sure there's a lot they discussed at halftime there. And Firelands, they'll have to defend that first, as we'll see Brookside take the field on offense to begin the third quarter, as that'll be getting underway here momentarily.
Oh, another Guardian cap, it looks like, from number 1, Caleb Steinhelfer. So I love the Guardian cap, Max, so I'd like to see the representation there from the Guardian cap.
Yeah, there's a few guys.
Got to keep your head safe.
That, and I even saw a handful, I think, last night at North Ridgeville when we were out there.
Yeah.
So
saw some Guardian caps last night as well. I wish more players would wear them.
So now we'll see Brookside take the field here on offense. So we may also have to wait to get our final member of the chain gang out there. It looks like our yard marker is not there yet.
Can someone tell him that break time's over? We need him.
So it looks like we'll have, might pull double duty here.
Some guy has to pull double duty.
So we'll get it straight, and that'll be first down and 10 from the 35, as now we'll be ready to go.
Oh, here we go. Here comes guy. He just ran up.
So it'll be, once again, first and 10 to start the third quarter. As Simpkins catches the low snap, he'll pitch it back, and running around the edge, that time it'll be the 8 of Colt Hoffman, as he got a couple carries in the first half. Looks like more of a bruiser there for this Brookside offense.
Yeah, Hoffman carries the ball high and tight, and he does a really good job following his blocker. So want to see them create some more space for him on those rushing attempts, and I think they'd get some good chunks of yards.
And if you can keep wearing down the defense with some tough runs like that, then maybe that'll open up some other things.
It'll tire them out on offense, that's for sure.
So now they'll break the huddle, head to the line for 2nd and 8 here. Simpkins will line up in that pistol. Looks to the sideline as there is some confusion for the play call, but there's a lot of getting in and out of stances right now. Here we go. Snap is back. They'll hand it off around the left side on a stretch play. And trying to get around the outside is Max Sunyak. He won't get away from the tacklers, and he does hold on to the ball there.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a face mask on the Firelands Falcons, and we'll get a 15-yard penalty for the Brookside Cardinals. You know, they haven't had a lot of breaks this game, Max, so this is a good omen for them, but unfortunate and, you know, rare error from the Firelands Falcons from today's game.
Yeah, so far they've been very efficient. So looks like the player was able to let go, and they will just tag him with touching the face mask and not
Yeah.
holding it.
All right. So 5 yards instead of 15.
Either way, though, for Brookside, it's a positive gain they'll take there and brings up 2nd and 5. They'll come out of their huddle, head to the line, and as we've seen all in the first half, and I think they've rotated a few bodies up on the defensive line, but they still trust those 3 to hold down the middle there in the run game.
They're doing a good job so far.
Now Simpkins, he'll get that snap, and they'll hand it off on the end around to Carter Janda, and he goes, and he's going right for that sideline, cutting up field, and he'll get tackled out of bounds inside the opposing 45.
Janda's showing some speed on the left side of the field and really doing a good job following his blockers, getting out of bounds, and he was able to move the chains. That was the best offensive play Brookside's had all game. Hopefully a sign of good things to come.
It easily was, and you know, it still took a little while to get going as they may have gotten blown up in the backfield there, but once they hit the outside, they didn't look back. And now they'll come back here on a 1st and 10 from the 44. Now Simpkins will get it. They'll try that play again, trying to go back outside, but Firelands ready for it this time, and leading the way on that effort was Harrison Lionheart.
Yeah, you could see Julian DiFilippo get in on the action as well on the defensive side. So fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, no way.
And it's a shame on you, Brookside offense. As we did have a player stay down the ground there for a bit, but it looks like Janda will start to head towards that sideline.
It looks like Janda took a little bit of a bump right there on the play, but he's walking off the field, and everyone's clapping for him as he's coming off the field under his own power.
So with the loss on the play, it'll bring up a 2nd and about 13 or so here as this offense, they've been able to stay ahead of the chains and on schedule so far on this drive. So now that they're behind it a little bit, we'll see how that affects them and maybe some of their play calling.
It's a beautiful day for football, Max. Just a beautiful day.
Yeah, not a real scorcher like I know we've experienced sometimes in previous years out here on Saturdays. So fortunate for those kids as well. Here we go. We'll set up at the 47-yard line. They'll throw it out to the right side, and they're going to get around the right edge there and cutting up field. Great play by Max Sunyak as he's going to be stood up and refuses to go down, getting that 1st down.
Yeah, Sunyak finally found a patch of grass to attack. First time all game, and he was able to take advantage. He was very eager to get going on that run.
And so far on this drive, hitting the perimeter has worked out pretty well, more so than any other play calling has in this game.
That's where having those big boys up front may hurt you. It's going to be a little bit harder to set those edges, but Brookside moving the chains and going outside is better than going inside against this Firelands Falcons defense.
Yeah, east and west over north and south, and we're presumably around halfway through this 3rd quarter as we'll try our best to see what the officials are communicating time-wise. We do not have a scoreboard in operation this afternoon, but you've got your scoreboard so you know who's up. And right now it's been Firelands this entire game. So now Simpkins rolling right, and he's going to tuck it immediately, trying to get some yards on the scramble, and he'll fall down after about a yard or 2.
Wasn't able to get past number 37, Dylan Layport, on that outside. So short gain, good tackle, good open field tackle. You know, that's one of the hardest things of football, open field tackling, especially at this age. I remember playing at this age. Here I go, sounding like an old timer.
Dating yourself a bit.
And I just remember those open field tackle Oklahoma drills. Always hard to get those tackles down.
Well, and you're one-on-one at that point. Spotlight's on, and everybody's going to see if you can bring them down. So now that'll come out to a 2nd and 8. As we'll see kind of a I formation out of the pistol, and they'll give it to the 2nd man in that, and it's going to be Jackson Freeg as I want to apologize earlier in the drive. We referred to him as Colt Hoffman. The 9 and the 8 look very similar, but that is going to be Jackson Freeg handling the rock there out of that fullback position.
Another good couple chunks of yards right there, Max. Third and manageable. Looks like third and about 5.5 or 6 yards. It's going to be interesting to see how they can convert this to keep the drive going. This is their best drive of the game, so you want to keep that momentum. You don't want to stall it out, so possible go for it opportunity after this play if they cannot convert.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, as you don't have to try to get all at once here. So now, see pistol formation, loft out to the right side. Once again, that'll be Sunyak trying to make something happen, but he's just not going to be able to get anywhere. As Simpkins did his best to get the ball out of his hand quickly, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Firelands is adjusting well to that outside perimeter attack. 4th and 4 here. Brookside has to make a decision right here because, yeah, you can punt the ball and pin Firelands inside their own goal line, but you also got to, I think this is just an opportunity where you have to go for it, Max. You got to put some points on the board, man.
Yeah, weighing your options. Maybe you could get a safety or set something up that way, but we'll see them definitely keep that offense on the field. And they are at the 24 for this 4th and 4, so we'll need to see him hit the 20. He almost fooled me. I thought he was going to go under center there for a moment, but Simpkins will stay in the pistol with a couple running backs behind him. Low snap, and now he's just going to have to try to create here. Cutting around some defenders, but he is brought down quickly by Harrison Lionheart.
Yeah, that you know, just another bad snap, and he wasn't able to get in rhythm with the play. So they've had a hard time snapping the ball today, Max. And, you know, sometimes when you have a hard time snapping the ball, things like that are going to happen.
Yeah, you'll get behind schedule, and right there on a 4th down, for example, you can't have it. So that'll bring their offense off the field.
It was good that they were able to get some yards, though. They were able to figure some things out that drive.
Saw a few things that worked, and they may be able to carry that over for the rest of this game, but obviously moving forward into the coming weeks, as Firelands now will get the opportunity here. As we remain in the 3rd quarter, we'll keep an eye on when they go to flip the field and go to the opposite side for that quarter change to the 4th. So both teams will make their way back out there. Firelands setting up shop at around the 25.5 or so. Up 26-0 here on this opening weekend of Junior LC8 football. So we'll have a new quarterback in there now. As it won't be Lingus, but
big play here, Max. Oh, my goodness.
That's a familiar name, Harrison Lionheart. He said, we may not have the quarterback in, but I'm still here, and he's going to go all the way, 74 yards to the house. Not even sure if anybody got a hand on him.
I think he went untouched, Max. He got that handoff from number, who was that at quarterback?
I believe that was Mr. Connor Voros, number 27 there.
Yeah, number 27. Number 27, Connor Voros at quarterback, handed it off to Harrison Lionheart, and he took that puppy all the way home, man.
So now that will increase their lead to 32 points. And just continue what has been a dominant afternoon here for the Falcons.
Yeah, so it looks like Firelands are going to try some guys at different positions now with this lead. So we're going to see how creative they can get for the rest of the game. And Brookside, you know, they got to keep their chins up, and they got to play with some pride and put some points on the board in this next offensive drive.
That's right, and so now we'll see another 1-point conversion attempt, and once again, Voros will take the snap. He'll get it out of the pistol, and he tries his first attempt at a throw. Get that arm warmed up, as that's all that will be. Like you said, penalty moving them back.
Yeah, false start on the halfback there. Got to stay in place, so we're going to just try again, but 5 yards further back.
As the officials are working on spotting that So, yeah, there we go. We'll be at the 8-yard line now for this point after try.
Math is hard, Max. Math is so hard.
Well, I'm working on an angle here as well, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
absolutely right. I should have just thought about 3-yard line. Where is that going to be? So now we'll come back out, and pretty similar formation here as they're very comfortable out of this pistol and using some motion in their offense. Boros gets everybody in his stance. Boost will come across the formation. He'll get it on a handoff, try to follow his blockers. And, I mean, it's tough for anybody to get around the likes of Landon Bachman. You talked about him on defense right there. He led the way and secured them the point after making it 33-0 Firelands, as each team will go to their sidelines and get ready to switch sides of the ball. While they do that, we'll take a quick break and be right back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here on the Lorain County Sports Network as Brookside sets up on offense. And we'll have a new quarterback in the game now for the Cardinals, as taking snaps will be Jason Brutout. And he'll give it off the right side, and making his way towards the sidelines, Max Sunyak. Once again, he's kind of become the featured back in this offense.
Yeah, it looks like Sunyak is the RB1, the do-it-everything kind of guy. He's got good hands catching the ball. He can attack holes at a ferocious speed. So they have to figure out a way to get this kid on the edge or just out in open grass, man. They just give him a chance to make a move or something.
We'll see if they've got any play calls for that up their sleeve here. 2nd and 8. As we believe, pretty certain we're still in the 3rd quarter now. As it is possible they may have flipped the field after Firelands scored on that last drive, heading right to left on your screen. So we may be in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
Work with us here as we're kind of guesstimating without a scoreboard operator
It looks like
today.
we are in the 4th quarter right now.
So snap goes back, and that play's blown up. Huge hit and thrown down in the backfield by, I believe that's going to be Dominic Snyder of the Falcons.
Big Dominic Snyder came in and blew up all the plans they had to run the ball right there. He was at it from the D tackle spot. Completely took over that play. Sometimes, there are players on a play that just take over. You can just feel the aura that they present, and they just take over. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, so that was him on that one, and now it brings up a 3rd down and 12 to go situation here for the Brookside offense.
Brookside just needs to find some positivity. They just need to play with some confidence and try to put points on the board. That's got to be the goal here. Let's put some points on the board and play with some pride.
And they'll have to do so with a new signal caller as As we mentioned, Brett out entering the game here. We'll see what he's got with his arm ability, and he'll get the chance to swing it out right. That'll be a catch by Sunyak, but he's not going to get very far as moving laterally like that.
Yeah.
It's worked at times, but it's a lot harder to escape when the defenders have the angle on him like that.
Yeah, got to give credit to Firelands defense. They were able to get some, they were able to get taken advantage of earlier on the outside. Brookside doing a good job converting some plays, but got to give credit to Firelands for them adjusting well. And injury on the far side of the field. So we're going to take a break right here, Max, don't you think?
That's right. We'll come back shortly here on the Lorain County Sports Network. All right. We return after injury timeout there to what we believe is ending the quarter, or actually, I believe that would have been a punt. So we stay in the fourth quarter here, and we get a punt from the Brookside offense. End around, going to the right side, coming at you on your screen. That's going to be Kenneth Putnam as he picks up a nice gain there on his first carry of the afternoon.
Yeah, good carry from Mr. Putnam right there, number 46 of the Firelands Falcons, and we have another athlete down on the field. So we'll take another timeout here from Brookside. You're watching and listening to the Lorain County Sports Network.
We're back here on the Lorain County Sports Network on Junior LC8 football, and we're now seeing the injured Cardinal come off the field all right there, and we'll get back to action here shortly. Second and short now for Firelands.
Max.
So now we're back here, 2nd and 2 to go from just past midfield. We're going to see a rollout and a decent throw on the move that time, as that will fall incomplete, but it'll remain 3rd and short. I believe Voros uncorking the arm for the first time.
Boros doing a good job uncorking that arm. He's had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of things, since he's came into the game. So good to see a diverse talent at the quarterback position from the Firelands Falcons.
And they got a couple of them as well, and I know a lot of teams may be envious of that in this league this year, as we're just getting started here on Saturday afternoons. As the regular season will run 7 weeks, but then the season in total will go towards 10 weeks. So it'll run the same amount of time as the high school schedule, but the last 3 weeks will all be playoffs. And
looks like we have a timeout from Brookside on over here, Max.
That we do, and that'll give us a great chance to check in with a few of the partners and organizations that we have with us from around the area that have helped make the coverage of these kids possible. And you've heard a couple of them so far. A few more include Semper Fi Plumbing. Uncommon service is a common virtue with Semper Fi Plumbing. Give them a call, 440-787-9138. Also, Elyria Charities. It's all about education. The Lorain County Visitors Bureau, who are celebrating 200 years of the county being in existence. Zabo Apparel on Liberty Avenue in Vermilion. Give them a call, 440-963-7495, to be game day ready all year long, as well as Robert Garcia of Allstate, local Allstate agent in Avon, supporting youth athletics. Jones Bones Barbecue, Smoking Good Barbecue in Grafton, and Brian Victor of Howard Hanna, who says to enjoy the game.
Oh.
That was everybody a little anxious on that half of the field.
False start. That's just as plain as day. False start, Max. Classic false start right there.
As the receiver and corner were itching to go there, but now instead it'll make it a 3rd and long after being a 3rd and very short and manageable to deal with. So the reset here, Voros in that pistol, as each quarterback, him and Lingus, have been there all afternoon. They'll turn and give, and this time it'll go to Ezekiel Jones, as he's just going to get to that sideline, come up a couple yards short, but now they're right back to where they lost the penalty yardage, and they're set up nicely for a 4th down, 1 or 2.
Yeah, good run play right there. So puts Firelands in a little bit of a decision. Do they want to, with the big lead, they want to go for it or punt it away here? It looks like the initial look right now is a punt or something right here, Max, because
yeah, I believe at least one coach over there is signaling he wants to kick it away. And we'll see if they choose to do that, though.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to let the kids play the game, and it looks like we're going to get a real punt here.
Let's see where he sets up at. Yeah, so he's going to be around 8 yards back. And we did have some movement before the snap, but I believe during punts, nobody
can't move till the ball lands.
Yeah, so they'll lose a couple yards on that punt, and Brookside will set up around midfield. And if I had to guess, that's probably his first in-game punt. So
yeah,
you mentioned it earlier with the game itself. You gotta start somewhere, and he'll build on that from there. You can only go up here.
Yeah,
on out.
That's the risk you play when you choose to punt it away. But they have such a huge lead that sometimes it's worth it to give these kids an opportunity. And it looks like we have the conclusion of the game here, Max.
Yeah, so we'll end on that punt as each team will come together and with some good sportsmanship, high five close to midfield, and that'll do it for our coverage here of this first game. But we do have a doubleheader this afternoon, as coming up next in a follow-up live stream. So we will end this one, start a new video stream for you to click on. We'll have Black River taking on Keystone. So come back for that if you are a fan of either of those teams and are waiting for that, or just a fan of the junior LC8 football. So that's going to do it for myself, Max Drummond, Sam Sovacool, as well as Ben Parsons. Thank you for tuning in here on this opening game of coverage, and we'll see you soon.